Hello there, this is Dark Ravage 07, finally coming with you with the review. I've got everything out of the box. Let's turn this camera around, take a look at the pieces. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, all the stuff down below. Thanks again for watching. Let's turn the camera around and take a look at this awesome set. And first off, I just want to go through the boring stuff first. You get these two stands for the figures with these extra bits right here. Everything is a little bit waffly, and you just put that back in there and you can do different things. It's in the instructions, and I'm going to bore you with that. You do get the space bridge over here, and that thing is really nicely put together. You get a piece for, I guess, Optimus and a piece for Ultra Magnus, but then you can put it together and just make the space bridge and do photography and all the stuff and things you want to. You got different ports, different things you can do if you so desire. The other thing that you're seeing right here in the middle, let's just see if we move this down here. You do get Fort Max's Gigantor sword that Super God, Fire, Convoy, or Omega Prime can actually wield this thing. So then, there you go, you got that. You get the instructions for Omega Prime, Optimus Prime, and Ultra Magnus Blue Bolts. It's a big spread. We're not going to go get into that kind of deal and stuff there at the moment, but you do get those. You get that nice box art that all comes in. So there's Optimus and Omega Prime, Blue Bolts, and Ultra Magnus, and then, and of course, the most important pieces. We're going to start off with Optimus Prime to show off that vehicle mode, and you do have a little Cerebros figure that you can put in there. He can go up here and hang out up here and do his thing, and it's very, very neat, the stuff you can do. I like that they give us the hard plastic wheels. Kind of, Ryder, what you into, buddy? Anyway, my dog is doing something weird over here on the side off camera, but these will last longer than the rubber tires did, and that's the reason why I got rid of the original set. These are so much bigger feeling and definitely heavier, worth the weight kind of thing. Here's a look at the back. You get the C001 designation for Fire Convoy, and everything about this just holds together better. There's no droopiness in it. This feels good in hand. There's like really, really super tight ratchets and stuff and things. It just goes way off camera. It does do that extending boom thing. Yawn is the button press or the thing being bumped and accidentally launching my missiles across the room. And that was what I really did enjoy about the original. And also Yawn, and I think you can actually articulate that. Yeah, that articulates a lot smoother than that up and down thing. But everything is heavy duty built with this thing. The sounds and the lights are gone. And the one thing that you'll see me futz with is these things throughout the review, because these things are not pinned in whatsoever and falls out super duper easy. So I like the way that does move around through there and whatnot. Like the tempo there, the Japanese there. And if you haven't watched Car Robots, it's definitely worth a watch. You do got the wheel gun thing there, and you can see how things work out on the bottom. It's very, very clean, and it just feels really, really, really good in hand. And now that I've actually done the fix, I'm not going to worry about it when I go to transform this guy. What I do like versus the original is how this interlocks. And you can actually see a little bit of stressing right there. So daggone it. I mean, I guess I can take the hairdryer to that little stress mark, but that's what happens on that one piece. And it's up in there. We'll get into that a little bit later. But very, very shiny. You have to add these back onto that because it's in like a plastic thing that the Optimus comes in separately. So you got to add those pieces on, and Cerebros is also hiding in there. Make sure not to throw away Cerebros, guys. I'm going to put in my Fort Max downstairs, and I should actually bring Fort Max upstairs and do some photography a little bit later. I'm going to set Optimus over there on the side. I'm going to bring Magnus out here on this thing and let you see him with Blue Bolts. This is my configuration to get this set further forward. So then when I do get Sideburn, the only one of the car robots that we got in the Legacy line, then he can actually fit up there and whatnot. This thing feels really, really good in hand. Rolls super duper well, and Yeah, let's just get that space bridge out of the way. It looks like it's time to let that thing take off and roll. We're gonna put Optimus over there on the space bridge. Let's see, I can pick that up by the cab and it doesn't go VP bump into anything. So this piece right here is totally separate, and you got to slide it back up into the gold medallion thing there. You also add TAD on the combined Super Godfire convoy heads, gold antenna, and that's just a little bit annoying as well. Getting it to actually sit down in there is a little bit of a trick. They have clear windows, and then they got some painted windows there. All pin wheels, and some of the folks that have been missing out on these are not pinned in good whatsoever, and bam, this thing would be boxed back up and sent back off to. You spend so much money on this stuff, time, and you wait, and then it comes and it's not 100%. So that's something that I'm not too crazy about doing any more Haslab. I'm really scared about Lyle Kaiser now, and you got to reinstate the faith there, Hasbro, because I mean this should have been a fun play around of the thing, and I've been stressed out since 7 o'clock last night when it arrived. Saw other people getting in reviewing it, but then I looked closer today and QC problems are just got to stop on Haslabs altogether. I do like this is the funnest weaponizer target master ever, and like I said, I just use the tabs there so it sits further forward. Other than that, it sits way back up here and it kind of blocks the way. So anyhow, Blue Bolts actually transforms into a robot mode. We'll get into that a little bit later. And just for giggles and whatever, I'll try to get his gearhead mode up right here. If I don't take it off the thing, and the rider's going to squeak, and I just took him off. Give me just a second. Also gone is the launching capability of these things. These are separate pieces, and you can do many different kind of configurations, as I've demonstrated the first not in the instructions configuration to get Blue Bolts to sit forward a little bit more. So I'm going to get these guys converted. I'm going to start with Blue Bolts, or actually I'm going to start with Cerebos, do a little flip head thing and show that off, and then anyway, I just love that you can do the GUR thing and you can actually do them like a flying drone too of Doom. So, all right, guys, let's get them transform. One other thing I was wanting to show off before we got into that transformation is show sideburn with the ramp and all the stuff, and you can do the whole roll off thing and that kind of thing. And then you can also have them sitting up there behind Blue Bolts' GUR head mode, doing the whole pew pew pew, and I kind of did it a little bit differently. So you got guns shooting out the back, you got the missiles in the front, those don't launch. And also gone, if I remember correctly, there was a sound thing built into the Ultra Magnus, and there's no lights or sounds with either one of these figures, and that's kind of a bummer for the price. So with that said, let me get Blue Bolts transformed, and Ultra Magnus transformed, and Optimus Prime transformed, and we'll move on through the review. And here is all 4 core robots on the turntable together, showing you their sizes and whatnot, all maxed out, all decked out with the armor and that kind of thing. And then I ran into a snafu there and knocked over the Type Master, but we'll go ahead and get into him real quick. And I'll learn to let things go. Okay, so here is Cerebros. We're going to skew in here and look at that head and noggin. Looks really, really good. He is the same exact as the other one that comes with Fort Max downstairs. And I did a fun little post of that back of this. And I can show you right here what he looks like when he's combined. And so that's about enough of him. Has the same standard transformation. And then there is that beautiful head and noggin. We're going to set him aside. Next up, we got Blue Bolts, and I really couldn't stop fiddling and futzing around with this guy long enough to get these 2 guys transformed after I got him fixed. So there he is. He's got 2 guns, one for the both of you. A beautiful look at that head sculpt there and that face. I just love this thing. He's the funnest weaponizer target master, period. I'm so glad to give him a robot mode. He's got his little things in the back and has a very Ultra Magnus-y kind of color theme going on without being too exact there. But those eyes are really, really greatly painted in detail. You get some up and down just a little bit on the ball. You get some wiggle waggle attitude there. You can go all the way around on that head and knock off the back cannons there. We'll just go ahead and throw it back on there real quick. Just tabs back in. No big deal there. You can get out to almost a full Mr. T there. Those do extend on out. You do even manage to get like a waist swivel due to it being a weaponizer. So, I mean, that's pretty freaking sweet. I mean, you can use these as claws if you need to. So it's kind of nice. All of us, you get that back up there again, because you can get the full band damage also. And what a spread that is, and all the way around at the waist. A little bit of bugly there. Probably need a DNA design kit, you know, the fill it in. I wish that there were some spring-loaded gap filters with the weaponizers, but budget constraints, all that stuff. And on a crowdfunded project, there shouldn't be any hollowness, and we'll circle back to that in a minute. Knees, you can get this much, or actually you can get a little bit further there, and you do get a wee bit of ankle tiltage, and just a fun, like I said, weaponizer all together. We're going to say him right here out of the way, and then we're going to look at Ultra Magnus. He's kind of a big deal, and I gotta say, it's really, really awesome how it came together. Let's take a look at that face sculpt and whatnot. I do wish that we had more faces, because he gets quite expressive in the show, and with that head articulation you get some wiggle waggle. He should be able to look up because he is a flying bot, but there's none of that. The electronics is gone, and in place of that is for more articulated stuff and things. I really wish I could push the button and make the flying sounds like it used to make. And to do like how it cleans up on the backpack and everything locks together. And you can get out to a full Mr. T there. Another impressive thing is you can get a massively awesome full van damage. Nice spread shot there. And due to the way he transforms and stuff, and this comes together, you get no waist swivel whatsoever. You can get all the way around on this other joint here because it's a mushroom peg there, hollowness there. Shouldn't be any hollowness anywhere on these. The wrists do articulate and move in and out and do some things and whatnot. That thumb is kind of awkward, but there's a purpose for that thumb that we all know about later on. The transformation into Omega Prime. Upper thigh swivel, get that much in the knee due to the constraints of the way things are. You do get a little bit of ankle tilts there, so that's way more than what he used to have back in the day, and I like that they actually give it a really big heel spur. And we can also address this stuff right here in a few minutes too, and we'll do that when we go into that combined mode with boot bolts or whatever. I want to show him off with his pew-pews there and stuff, but we're going to set him aside a second and get on into Optimus real quick and his articulation and some details. So we got the core bot for Optimus, really solid chunk. You had to fix this thing out of the box or it would split and bust open. Really, really pretty detail in those eyes and what have you. The antennas articulate as you see fit. You can have them up, you can lay them back like they are in the show there. That's all up to you, that kind of thing. You can get all the way around on the head there. And you do have like one extra step there. I can see us all forgetting. You can just like go back and forth with the head. So it goes forward there for that. This is a negative with this guy's, these little things just fly off at nothing. That's why they're not up like Voltron, like it is in the show. It's like you just, they don't stay on very good. And are prime candidates to get lost and or broken because it's really thin plastic there. You can get, it depending on the configuration, you can do like the old school and do it like that. That's how it was back in the day. And then you can get sort of like if you leave that a little bit bent, you get around the side, you can get a full Mr. T with both arms there. And then that thing can slide back and forth as you needed. You also do get wrist swivel, and it has to be exact whenever you go to put it up, because like if it's not like that, you don't get that to go in and transform. You get almost, well, I guess you can technically call that a full van damage there. Pretty impressive commander class. Like I said, crowdfunding should have all the bells and whistles. You go back that far, go forward that far, and it's got a little bit of a thing hanging up I don't know, really tight. So you got upper swivel there to a transformation joint. You got nice ratcheted knees, that much in the knee, and
to kick up that bar and stuff. And then you got a heel spur that will articulate, and you got some wiggle waggle down there to get those more dynamic A-frame one-click poses, however you see fit. Like I said, pretty impressive. Nicely done. I'm worried about this every time because it is clear blue plastic painted, and that used to be like red vac metal, and they substitute the vac metal. They don't really have it here at all because it'll just flake and dust off with time. And I gotta say, I love those tires like this versus the old rubber tires that disintegrated on my original. So then there's that, guys. And we're also going to take a look at the articulation of the base here. I'm going to move it forward on the turntable, and it's going to fall apart. I wish that would peg in a little bit better, but there's your base mode and all that base. You got articulation with these things here, the way that the canopy does up on the top there. You can swing those in and around and do how you see fit. And I got Ultra Magnets like in the way no matter what. But, these things are articulated as you need to. They got a little added articulation there that wasn't there. You can articulate the pew-pews or the antenna of the head to simulate pew-pews. I used to have spy changers that used to go in and out right through there. With all that said and done, guys, I mean, that's the core stuff. Let's get some combined stuff. And here is Ultra Magnus' A configuration. That is like one for one what he did with the original, plugging into the shoulders, the whole 9 yards there. We'll spin around the block there, let you see how cool that looks when he's gunning them down. He's got a B configuration. Here's configuration B, where he's dual wielding the singular blasters there, and he's got the mortars on the backpack, and it actually clicks into place there. So that's kind of neat, and I got the stuff backwards there. There we go, that's all better now. So there's configuration B. And there's one other configuration where Blue Bolts actually tucks away, and we'll also get him into Super Fire Convoy mode here in a second. And real quick, here is how you would store like the legs right here, the arms there, and the little knobs here, and the backs of his legs. Over here on the front side of Ultra Magnus, you actually have the chest up here in the chest area, and you can get that down in there and close that back up, and Blue Bolts storage, or Blue Bolts and Ultra Magnus combined. Little side note, margin, you got a way to make Blue Bolts disappear into the robot mode, but you don't have a way to fill in the back of the hands. That is just unacceptable. At least it does fill in the gaps in the back there. No excuse for the back of the hands gaps. Good night, it's so ugly. Now I gotta say, guys, that's a lot of bot on the turntable. 2 commander classes, all the armor pieces, everything put together there. Even Cerebros is right up there in his shoulder, looking really fine together. We're going to do a little quick turnaround. You see the junk in the robot's trunk. I'm going to back it off of this a little bit. There you go. Junk in the robot trunk. The gun stores there. You can store it in numerous places you want to store. And Blue Bolts is all stored away within Ultra Magnus. So there's both those modes. We're going to go through Optimus's articulation since we already did Ultra Magnus. And before we go into the articulation, I just want to say that is a really beautiful head sculpt. And for whatever reason, you can go all the way around as you would need or want to. I don't understand the skirt thing on the back of the head there to, I guess, cover up the other bits. It has another hinge there, and it goes forward and back, and it just, I don't know, maybe I'm doing something wrong. You can look down that far, you can look up, not so far, because it gets in the way of itself. The antenna are articulating, or they'll pop off, but I don't want to do that. You can get these flaps up out of the way on the shoulders, or you can use it as gap fillers, however you see fit. You can get all the way around at the shoulder there, really impressive. Even this stuff is articulating to a degree there. It should actually clip into place, but it doesn't. And then you can pop these things up, and you can get a little bit more up that way. You do retain all the other functionality there of the arm, and then these wrists are on a swivel, and fingers are all stuck together. I wish they individually articulated, and you got thumb articulation there. So that's going to do it for the arm. I'm sure that if you pop this up out of the way, you still get all the way around at the waist as you see fit, and you can get some other dynamic stuff going on right there. You can not really get the Mr. T because the way it bumps into itself there. And splits you could probably get the full splits, but I mean, I just don't want to stress or pop off the armor or do anything like that. Love how the heavy articulation is already making a big difference in how you do stuff here. And I want to say the ankle tilt is due to the way that it's engineered, and you get that much ankle tilt there, no up and down, except for like the transformation joint there. Nicely painted, looks really, really slick on the turntable. I'm gonna put that skirt thing down because it can kind of get in the way, but they did account for the articulation of this mode as well. You do have the pew-pews on the back of his forearms that you can do like that and what have you. It's really, really nice. You can take and plug it in, like I said, in other places, like up here on the shoulder, and have a shoulder mount cannon there, or you can actually also put it on the back of the hand if you see fit there. So there's that pew-pew there. And used to back in the day, it had a thing where you could just do it right here next to the head, but that's okay. You can actually throw it out there on the end of the shoulder armor if you decide. And other really cool things you can do with this guy, he can wield out the heavy weapon, and that is just really, really freaking awesome. And it actually holds so much better with the new joints. And that's, I mean, part of the reason why they made it so tight there. And that still, this should have not had to have any screws taken out to go and like make it to where you can actually transform it without breaking the core bot. But I mean, this is really, really freaking sweet, man. Just love this. Now there's only one other thing left to do, guys. We're going to get them combined into Omega Prime and get it in some final thoughts and land this thing. Thank you for sticking with me this long. Only one thing left to do, guys. Time to combine into Omega Prime. And I gotta say, guys, this guy is large and in charge and just absolutely beautiful. I love every bit of this and how it locks together, legs, the whole 9 yards. And I just did this to give it a little bit more waist articulation. I'm gonna try to go through that real quick here. You can lift this up and you can kick up pretty high still, even with all the junk on there. Go back that far. You can get that far. He has some A-frame ankle tilt there, some up and down due to transformation. You get some in the waist, just like so there. And then you come up here to the arms and you got kibble in the way, but you can still get up that far. You can go back that far. You can go out to the sides. You can get full van damage and a full Mr. T, even with all the junk on the tree. So there you go, guys. And then what else? I mean, it's got all the other stuff there, the swivels and stuff, the wrist articulation. The thumb can move in like that, and you get 2 areas of bend right there, so you can ball up a fist, reach way back, and assert yourself. The head can turn all the way around in a 360. Be careful with those golden antennae because they are so easily detached there. And look up so far, look down so far, and those beautiful eyes in there. And you got blue bolts up on top of his head. And then, of course, that little piece articulates there as you need it to see fit. So that's about going to do it. He's like, come on and get you some. And I got the base for some scale. And I want to say I was able to take the old stuff and incorporate it into the old one. But alas, I'm going to hold off right there. And we'll get into some final thoughts, guys. My final thoughts here. This guy's awesome. He locks together really good. Negatives are there's no sound or lights at all whatsoever. Then there is just a touch of hollowness, but the thing, and I guess the elephant in the room is the QC with that core piece of Optimus. It could snap, and you got to be careful with some of these other pieces here, especially like when it comes to the feet and legs. When I go to transform it back, you guys got to be careful because there's like a couple of tiny tabs that I could see them snapping with some time. So maybe the QC will get addressed, but I doubt it. And I probably will not be backing any more Haslab. I mean, they just are not going to prove themselves to where I can faithfully, or any of us faithfully can, after years of giving them money and buying their product, then they keep giving us subpar stuff or whatnot. I was also wanting more articulation out of this mode right here. I can understand why I didn't have it in the original. It had some electronics and some lights and sounds and stuff, but this is just them cheapening things out, and I can't handle it. Haslab should have all the bells and whistles, lights, sounds, etc., articulation. But it's still an excellent figure, and I'm glad I got it for the I believe it was the $300 price tag, because the aftermarket will go up like crazy. Vehicle modes are totally solid, and you can handle them pretty good without any fear of it like falling or snapping apart. I like the way things interlock, both Ultra Magnus and Optimus Prime. Blue Bolts is the absolute star of this show. Just give Blue Bolts a robot mode, and then you can have fun. He's a weaponizer, and he's got all those little advantages of being a weaponizer. And the most unexpected thing was to have Cerebos, but they made me pull out with Fort Max and handle that a little bit and switch it out and get the picks and the stuff and the things. Well, that's about going to do it for my Omega Prime review. You guys have been with me long enough. Thanks again for watching and staying around this long. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, all the stuff down below. Thank you again for tuning in, and I hope you guys, if you got it, are enjoying this, and hopefully my part 2 helped a lot of you guys not break your figures fresh out of the box. Have an excellent week out there. Stay safe until all are one, guys.